Wakey wakey, sleepyhead. Come on, I don't have all day. My head pounded, like the worst hangover I've had in years, and his voices make it worse. I slowly open my eyes and find myself in a tiny room with a man sitting on the table across from me. His eyes gleamed like the knife in a strange hand. Well, look who finally decided to join the land of the living. Sort of. You've been out for a few days. How are you feeling there? I tried to move, but I felt tight chains around my wrist, bounding me to my chair. I panicked, and I tried forcefully to move again, but to no avail. Don't fight the restraints. You are not going to hurt yourself, but it's annoying for me. I worked really hard today, so I don't want to move much. What's going on? What is this place? What are you going to do to me? You know, when you ask multiple questions, you are likely to only receive answers for the last one, right? He smirked at me, looking down on me. Anyway, in order, I made dinner, my house, nothing. I just need you to eat. What? What? Silence falls between us, and he just seemed to smile at me. I couldn't figure out what he was thinking or planning to do to me. It all seemed so strange. Was he planning to kill me or something like that? Was he enjoying this strange charade for some reason? The pain in my wrists was starting to make itself known, and in moving, I felt the chains make a sound. Stop trying to move. I'm not above hitting a baby fawn. What do you want from me? From you? Honestly, nothing. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it because his worship asked me to deal with a newborn and nobody can say no to him. Any other questions? Well, yeah? Then ask away. What the hell? The man snorted before he started laughing quietly. His teeth were sharp and pointy, like tiny blades in his mouth. His hand was black with nails like claws, and the way the light shined on him made everything feel like a dream. Well then, do you want the long version or the short version? Stop screwing with me! I could do a lot worse than screw with you. You don't seem to understand the position you're in right now. I mean, truly. What does this look like to you? A kidnapping turned murder? That's child's play to us. Your situation is a lot worse than that, and it will only get worse from now on, but you will have to learn to live with it. A cold chill ran down my spine, and fear took over me. I wanted to talk back, but my mouth hung open like a fool, and my teeth chattered as if the room had suddenly gotten colder. Everything in my body was telling me to run, but I was tied to the spot in the room. Humans are so fun to mess with. His voice suddenly lost the animosity, and he looked down at me with pity. It's fun that newborns still keep this naivety to them. We might have to beat it out of you later, but that will have to wait after I'm back from work. Anyway, let me explain. I held my breath without noticing, waiting for an answer to whatever this was. You were attacked a few days ago. You don't know why, don't know who, don't know where, and I do not care to know either. His worship found you and brought you to my roommate's home. We certainly didn't expect you to survive the transformation, but alas, you did. Congratulations on that. So now you are in our changer, or as I like to call it, babysitting. Not my cup of tea, nor am I getting paid for it, but we can't say no to that man, and soon you will learn that neither can you. He stopped talking like that was all he had to say, but it made no sense. None of this did. The hell are you talking about? That makes no sense! Stranger. Oh wait, no, that's a stranger. Wait, what? Okay, I'm just so confused about what that was. No, don't you humans have a lot of movies about things like that? Okay, wait, okay, I'm guessing this is the stranger supposed to be talking? That's probably a problem in the formatting right there. No? Don't you humans have lots of movies about things like this? Well, I guess it's mostly about vampires and the like. Sorry to disappoint you. You're not a vampire now. That would make your life easier. They are held in a much higher regard than you or I. We're at the bottom of the food chain. We paused for a moment, thinking. Don't tell his worship I said that. What do you mean, vampires? I said you were not a vampire. Then what the hell am I? Why don't you look down? What? Look down at yourself. I did as ordered and looked down. My heart jumped out of my chest when I saw a snout, where I swore I should have seen my own nose, whiskers on each side, and a very obvious animal muzzle. I panicked, my heart beating so fast I swore it could leap out of my chest into the plate in front of me. I heard my own panic panting and I couldn't recognize it. I sounded like a dog. Frantic, I looked at myself even more. My shirt was half ripped and instead of skin, I saw gray fur extending all the way down to my belt. My pants weren't my own, but somehow they fit my legs that were not so much bigger than before. I was horrified by my appearance and pulled at the chains before thinking. Before long, I felt a strong zap of electricity around my neck, jolting me out of my frenzy. Humiliating how a dark color fits you so well. He waves a little controller at me. What happened to me? I finally managed to cry. My voice faltered. As I said, you survived your transformation. What does that even mean? You're a werewolf, Harry. Sorry, couldn't help it. He laughed at his own joke. What do you mean, werewolf? Stop screwing around and just tell me! I mean it in the most literal way possible. You are a werewolf now, or more technically, a lycanthrope since you became one due to infection and not magic. Your life as you know it is basically over, but lucky you, his worship seems to like charity and will sort everything you need from now on. Aren't you a lucky boy? What the? Stop screwing with me, just explain! My voice wavered and my eyes swelled with tears. Please. The man sitting across from me looked puzzled and almost confused. He didn't talk for what felt like eternity as I cried in silence. I guess I don't understand humans. Why are you crying now? I don't get it. You don't even know what a werewolf is. Why are you sad before you even know anything? What's your deal? Do you want to listen in alphabetical or chronological order? His jovial tone irked every bone in my body at the same time. And like a fool, I wanted to jump onto him and wipe that smile off his face, preferably with my lips. He shocked me again without hesitation and slumped over my chair motionless. Now what? Now it's dinner time. You haven't eaten since your transformation. And your kind do not take well to hunger. Yeah? I looked at him puzzled, but he ignored me before getting up and dropping a plate of raw meat in front of me. Nice marbling on that. I wanted to be disgusted, but my mouth watered at the sight, and I could smell the blood so clearly it was maddening. Eat. It's not easy to get human meat these days. Might be the only proper meal you'll have for a while. My heart sunk to my stomach as I heard his words. Human meat? What's the point in screwing with me now? Aren't I tied to this chair already? You can zap me whenever you want. What do you gain from doing this? Yeah, I've been very clear this entire time, have I not? You're now a werewolf. Werewolves need human meat. I'm in charge of you from now on, and I brought you human meat. The curtains sometimes are just blue. There's nothing here, darling. Yeah, I'm gonna eat it. Like, why would I decline? I stared at the man for what felt like an eternity again. I moved in my chair uncomfortably with my wrist still tied behind my back. How did this man really expect me to eat? My mouth wanted like a desperate dog, and it felt humiliating. He looked at me bored and waited for me to make my first move. Untie me so I can eat. I was ashamed of my own words for some reason. How could I so easily accept something so horrid, but the hole in my stomach grumbled louder and louder. I mean, like, eating human meat is not the worst thing I've done. Like, let's be real here. I've done so much worse. So, hey, I'm not complaining. Why are you complaining? No way. You were tied exactly for this reason. I couldn't eat with my hands behind my back. And I don't see most animals needing their hands to eat. I am not a goddamn dog! Well, now you are. Look at you. Oh, for God's sake! You were tied in case you go insane, dumbass. Do you think any of this is simple? You turn into a being with a different nature and expect your brain to be okay with it? Just because you survived the transformation doesn't mean you're out of the woods yet. Eat the meat and then we'll talk. I looked down at the plate. The meat was raw and looked extremely fresh. Cut like this, it was easy to forget it was human. Maybe it was a sick joke he was playing on me and wanted to see how far he could push me. I choked down my thoughts. My mind was slowly becoming a haze to the smell of the meat sitting in front of me, begging to be eaten. I slumped down enough for my mouth to reach the plate, and with difficulty, I took a bite. It was unclean and difficult. The meat was tender and easy to tear into, almost like ground meat. It felt like heaven as it went down my throat, and I wanted more. I finished the plate way too fast. Silence inundated the room once more, and he looked at me with a serious face and waited. And now? His eyes gleamed with excitement and smiled at me gently. Well, congratulations. Seems like I don't have to kill you now. You said you would explain things after eating! I did! Now explain everything from the beginning and stop leaving random things behind. I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm not used to the ignorance humans have of our world. You see, I work in the underbelly of the city, so it's rare for me to even meet humans. I'm only doing this because he asked me to. That is not an explanation. Alright. Someone's sensitive today. He'll have a better answer when his worship comes back, but he is a busy man. In the meantime, this is all I know. Lycans are the only ones that can turn humans into werewolves, and they are literally werewolves with magical abilities. From my minimal understanding, some have enough magic to become sentient the way you and I are. Through magic, they can make humans and other species of that matter into lycanthropes. This requires permanent markings and blah blah blah. I'm not a mage. That's not what you are. I swear to God! I wouldn't do that if I were you. The gods above, the likes of you, do listen and they tend to be quite mean. You are no longer under human gods' watch. As I was saying, all that is actually consensual. Someone willingly becomes a lycanthrope and then they give away the precious form to gain some pretty nice physical abilities. But I didn't agree to it? If you'd let me talk. Go on. It is said that not all lycans that acquire magic become sentient. Legend says that a few become feral. Not like actual feral, they are wolves to begin with. Feral as a rabid animal. Desperate and hungry. Their bite carries a disease that turns humans like you against their will into this. Unlike lycanthropes, you are like your feral parent. Filthy. Filth only teaches filth, and due to that, you are likely to go insane and lose yourself to these new instincts of yours once you taste meat for the first time. We're not sure of much beyond that, but there is medication that helps calm those feelings down enough for you to survive on animal meat. His worship and subsequently, me and my roommate will provide you with underground doctors that will prescribe it to you. New housing arrangements. You can get your hopes up on that regard, and likely job prospects that are okay with a new predicament. You make it sound easy. We are making it easy for you. Normally for a human, it would be impossible to get to talk with any of these people, and eventually, you would become feral and attack other humans, trying to feed yourself, leaving behind a bloodbath. His worship wants to avoid that, so we make your life easier that way. But that doesn't explain why you're helping me. It doesn't? No. Well, you'll understand more once you meet the man himself. Maybe you'll see for yourself that we can't say no to him. Whatever he says is law. Maybe you just need to feel it in your body to understand. You make him sound like a terrifying thing. Logically, it is. He doesn't need to order us to do anything at all, but it is terrifying how we are compelled to obey his every word. Luckily, this guy is much nicer than the previous one. The old man was truly an asshole, so we're lucky, I guess. Well, time to get to work. He got up from his chair and sauntered behind me and gently releases the chains around my wrist. The loud clank the chains made when hitting the floor resonated in the tiny room, and my ears were ringing. It'll take a while for you to get used to how sensitive all your senses are. I got up from my chair, feeling my wrist and my head hit the lamp. I was so much taller than before, and the floor felt so distant. I felt like I was going to fall. He laughed at my obvious discomfort and walked out of the room, humming a song to himself. Ending 1. Guess this is my life now. Right, as much as I want to, I guess I won't eat. My mouth watered at the sight of the meat sitting in front of me, waiting to be devoured. My eyes glued to it like a feral animal. The smell was driving me insane, but I just couldn't do it. I can't. The man frowned but didn't say a word. He looked at me patiently, waiting for me to do something, but I couldn't bring myself to eat it. I felt that if I ate human flesh, I would lose myself, my humanity. I was human, not whatever he just said he was. I convinced my hazy mind that this was all a dream, that I simply imagined the snout and the fur. This was all a nightmare I could wake up from at any moment. I can wait here. I have all day, even if I have to skip work, but I don't think you understand that you don't. Stop screwing with me! I can't eat human flesh like this! You're insane! This is insane! He pointed the knife at me, and his red eyes glared at me. Are you insane? I can't do this! Do you know what happens to bad boys that don't do what they're told? He asked as his sharp teeth glistened under the light. The knife's sharp edge shining, approaching my neck ever so slowly. I'm not eating human flesh. You are insane if you think I'm going to believe any of this bullshit. Just let me go! You are making all of us waste precious time, so eat! His voice got louder and angrier. And I wish the ringing in my ears would wake me from this nightmare, but luck didn't seem to be on my side. Well, it seems you're going to make things difficult for all of us. The man stood in front of me, playing with his knife like it was a toy. He dangled it as he walked ever so slowly towards me. I don't know how horror could feel before, but every part of my body seemed to be glued to that chair at that moment. I wanted to fight the chains to free myself, but my body refused to move. My heart was beating so fast I couldn't hear my own thoughts inside my head. You know, I always wondered how pups like you taste. Just turned into a werewolf, but you were human just a few days ago. How does that affect the quality of the meat? Does it rearrange your organs inside you? He asked out loud as his face got closer and closer to mine. His eyes were cold, as the eyes and the man I had been talking to before was suddenly gone. I wanted to scream, to run, but I just sat there, frozen in fear. I'm not one to be wasteful of food, but I'm not sure if you're edible for me. He hesitated as the knife reached my throat. He looked me up and down, with a hand touching his skin, fur. His black hand was cold to the touch, as his nails so sharp he cut me without even trying. Anyway, I have to go to work, so I'll try and make this quick. He winked at me before walking behind me, sharp knife against my neck. The blade touches me ever so gently for a moment. Let's do a countdown. 4. Please stop. I finally managed to murmur. I can't hear you. He said in a sing-song mocking tone. 3. Please! I begged again. 2. I felt the pressure of the blade against my skin. The pain was immeasurable and... Ending 2. Good boys should eat their dinner. Anyway, that was Taste. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys do want to play this game for yourselves, link to the game will be in the description below. And yeah, I'd say this game was definitely a step up from Elevator Neighbor. I do wish that the scenes were just a little more tense, especially like towards ending 2. Yeah, but interesting premise. I do hope that I get to see more from this developer in the future, and perhaps that they would improve on their writing in the future. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all have a lovely rest of the day, and as always, I'll be seeing you in the next video. This is Lion, signing off. Ciao.